Testing one, two. 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 What's up, KS? Hope you're doing okay. I'm gonna let some people get in here first. I'm trying to look at some stuff. I hope everybody's been What's okay. What's up, KS? Hope you're doing okay. I'm gonna let some people get in here first. Hope you're doing okay. Trying to. I'm gonna let some people get in here first. Look at some stuff. Hope everybody's been What's okay. What's up, KS? Hope you're doing okay. Okay, I got an echo. I'm gonna let some people get in here first. Hope you're doing okay. Trying to. I'm gonna let some people get in here first. Look at some stuff. Hope everybody's been What's okay. Up, KS? Hope you're doing okay. Okay, I got an echo. I'm gonna let some people get in here first. Hope you're doing okay. Trying to. I'm gonna let some people get in here first. Look at some stuff. Hope everybody's been okay. KS? Hope you're doing okay. Okay, I got an echo. I'm gonna let some people get in here first. If this closes, I'll be back on. I hope everybody's been okay. Yes. Hope you're doing. If this closes, I'll be back on. Okay. Everybody's been okay. Yes. All right. Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me now? Is everything good? I just need to know. Yeah. Hey, Cosmic Crimes, can you hear me okay though now? Okay. So anyway, I hope everyone's been doing okay. I'm gonna try to share some stuff with y'all, but I need to find a way to look at comments where I can look on my phone and still get what I need to get to show y'all. Thanks for hitting the like buttons, whoever did. Much appreciated. Okay, okay. Sometimes I have to pull the YouTube up on something else because um I can't look at my comments and show y'all what I'm going to show y'all. So I hope you're doing all right, Vinny. How'd that stun gun work? Did you get it to work right? I haven't checked my messages yet. Okay, here we go. Must feed ourselves. Sorry for the delay. Okay. Well, let me know how it turns out. Last week was a rough one where Mia's sleep deprivation was bad. It was like they were keeping me halfway. I would try to sleep and I needed sleep so bad. I was exhausted many days last week and just couldn't sleep. I tried I tried stuff that should have definitely put me to sleep. So and it didn't work. So uh I'm glad they finally let me sleep. But like it was like I would go into a half awake, half asleep, where I wanted to just go ahead and doze off, but the other half of me was being fed these thoughts, like 100 different thoughts, and I'd be obsessing over each one as they came. It's just hard. I don't know if anybody's ever experienced that, but I know they were injecting them by the thoughts it was. Um, I know somebody in here had to have experienced that. Then we had, isolation tactics, and then we have I don't know if y'all saw that video, and then we had somebody that a lame attempt, that tried to say they knew Holly, and Holly told them bad stuff about me, and it was such a lame attempt because Holly did talk to this person before, but the stuff she said didn't was so untrue that it was such a lame attempt. So they've been going overtime. Trying to get us to stop this channel, destroy this channel, make people think something of us. Another thing too, we help who we want. If I see a homeless person who's a TI who's blacklisted, and I'm going to help him if I have my means and I feel led to help him. But I'm not going to do what I'm being accused of doing. Just because I'm associated with somebody and helping them, don't mean I'm weaponizing them to talk about nobody or nothing like that. Matter of fact. Let me scroll back to about 7 or 8 months ago and read the last message. See, this person says, "Oh, this is proof this dude mentioned you. He's homeless. This is proof you've been helping him out to weaponize him against me." Uh, no, I've been helping him out and encouraging him to get off the streets and get to his kids. And is there something wrong with that? Nope. And all these campaigns going around can't show no evidence. All you can do is reach for the information you need. And I'm talking about whoever's doing it. They can't show no proof of nothing because there is no proof. We do not smear others. We don't blacklist others. We don't do none of that. So we got too much going on in our stuff to even worry about that. So I'm not going to read it all, but it says, here's what I said. I said, we have not talked. Last time this person brought this person up, this is about 8 or 9 months ago, 6 or 7, something like that. I said, we have not thought about this person a long time. Best to leave it alone. I told you to leave it alone. Ignore people like that. The more you respond, the worse it blows up. Give them no energy. Anyway, there's more to it, but at the end, and the reason I'm not gonna, because I don't, it says it don't make sense at all unless you think deep. And what I meant by make sense at all until you think deep is when you're being attacked on the internet and somebody tells you leave it alone, it don't make sense to leave it alone when you first think about it. But when you think deeply about it, leave it alone. Focus on yourself. Focus on what you got to do. Don't. And I said, uh, so, so the reason I'm reading this is because there's a person out there playing. This is how desperate narcissists will get. They're playing their own friend, and they've created a YouTube account acting like their own friend to trying to destroy us. But I don't really care. And the only reason I'm putting this out there is so somebody will read through this and see, wow. Because I can actually screen record this whole thread and show I've never weaponized. No, we've always encouraged people to get off streets, uh, and all that. So anyway, it says they can't. Let's see. Uh, don't make sense unless you're thinking about it on a deep level. You have to starve people for energy. Don't respond. You're wasting too much time and energy on this. You don't think I've been through smear campaigns, but ignoring them, I gained more peace ignoring them than I did feeding into it. Just think, all this got blowed up, all misunderstanding, and I'm not going to go into that misunderstanding because I don't want to insinuate who the person is. And then the narcissist wants to be mentioned so bad, they'll put comments and make sure you can read them. Oh, you always go on your live stream and never name names. I don't name names because I stay out of drama, but I can show you where anybody who knows me knows if I mention a situation and haven't and if I mention a situation, I've confronted that person first, but I leave names out of it because first of all, sometimes a narcissist wants to be mentioned, and they will bait you so you'll go on your live and talk about them and get attention to them. So no thanks. Okay, so look, I'm fixing to move on to the next subject. So I said, we got attacked and smeared trying to help you. I'm telling you, bro, leave it alone. Not saying nothing on your live stream about it. Focus on your getting your family back, your kids. Focus on stuff like that. Don't let this steal your peace. This stuff has stole your peace for years. I said you got way too much worry about than even think about that situation. So anybody that thinks I'm weaponized against anybody is wrong. I've always tried to, when I help people, also encourage them to do better for themselves, and that's facts. All right, let's move on to the next. Let me see. But the reason I felt obligated to do this because this person's going to great lengths, even playing their own friend in third person and trying to say me and Holly don't help people, all this bull crap. And I felt the need to address it in case somebody new to the channel seen it because this person's very good at how they twist the narrative and put videos on. And see, here's what you got to watch out. If you're a TI, and especially if you're trying to help somebody, you have to be very limited. We've had to back up we help people, we stay in touch with people, but we're very limited on the information we give them because what they'll do is they will and then they get mad when you say it's agent behavior, it's perp behavior, but really it is. How you going to get mad at somebody because and then I got proof that there was a certain person, I'm not naming names or nothing, but there was a certain person. I got a 12-minute screen recording of messages this person left us trying to weaponize us against another TI because of some stuff. And they were trying to tell us that this TI said this about us. And we were asking, okay, well, where's the proof? Where's the proof? And then because we would not go and destroy this person on our channel or talk about this person on our channel in a bad way, this person's been smearing us and all that. And that's the truth about it. So uh, I just put that out there. So if anybody had seen it, that's our side of the story. Um, but I wanted to give examples of how these people will go, how the links they will go to. So they'll bait you, especially if you have a large channel or any kind of, they will bait you into naming their name on channels because they want attention. It's all about attention with the narcissist. And so yeah, I will help. I do help homeless targets sometimes if I felt led back in the day. We've been we've had some. Holly had some medical stuff. Pretty serious medical stuff, and we had to pay a deductible, so that kind of broke us. But back in our day, we were helping people, and we will help who we want, and we won't be bullied into not helping nobody. I mean, not helping a certain person. If we want to help them and feel led to help them, we will help them, and we will not be bullied. You're not going to bully us into weaponizing somebody, destroying somebody on their channel for you. You're not going to do it. So. And I'm proud that we are that way, because there was some people trying to weaponize us to go and destroy people on our channel, and we're not going to do it. And we never saw. And the crazy thing is, when we kept asking for evidence, they kept avoiding it. Well, they had evidence, all kinds of other stuff. They had ever other video saved and ever other, but they don't got no evidence to prove what they were saying this person was doing to us, because they were trying to convince us this person was doing something to us. Okay, I'm gonna get to the comments. Yes, they gave me hyper racing thoughts. They make you unable to concentrate. God is with me. If he's for me, who can be against me? Exactly. Certain perps will go the extra distance to destroy you. Yeah, and not even perps. TIs who are jealous of other TIs and all that. I mean, that's just ridiculous. This is about helping TIs. I'm trying to, uh, you know, man, I was at the point of destruction. I was bitter. I was suicidal. I had three serious attempts. Not that, oh, I'll cut myself so people feel sorry for me stuff. And by the way, I would never do it again. I would never attempt suicide again. Three serious attempts. I was in two blood transfusions. 14 stitches in my wrist, 17 staples in my neck, uh, a 5-day coma. Um, so, I've been through the worst and the worst. So I have compassion on people who are totally blacklisted on the streets. Yeah, I do. And if you're trying to weaponize it against me and get me to go on I don't come on the channel and name names and talk about people. And you see the reverse psychology they use because they want to be named. They'll say, "Oh, well, he's a weak coward because he won't name who he's talking about on the live stream." But see, it's there's certain situations where that would apply, but it don't apply in this situation. It's just this person wants to be named because they want attention. Okay, so chosen by God, protected by Yeshua. I have been using the Robert Clancy prayers against also Fernando Perez has midnight prayers that are so amazing for us that don't have words. Cry out to Jesus, all that hurting. If someone sends you money and asks you for a screenshot of the sent confirmation, they are a perk. I could see where that would come into play. Could you kind of explain what you mean by that? I kind of see what you're saying though. We've never done that. So yeah, I don't know why somebody would do that. So I guess that is a yeah, yep. Matter of fact, I think that's a scam, ain't it? Ain't that some kind of scam when they do that? Martine Reed said, I also saw on Reddit the FBI started taking reports from TIs rather than just referring them to mental health providers. Wow. And that's very interesting. I know Ryan Mitchell, who is missing now, was speaking out and going to them and talking about them. But oh yeah, another thing I want to remind y'all, FISA 702 was actually enacted in 2008. So if anybody in here knows any information that can help me with this, I'm confused. So you got a targeting program worldwide. There's plenty of targets that's been targeted, been going through this long before FISA was even thought of. So you do away with FISA, you don't do away with the program. So sure, FISA needs to be done away with because we don't need nobody. It may be adding more people to a list, but there's many different lists. Um, oh, hey, very soon, morning. So there's many people different on the list. There's a worldwide program with trillions of dollars probably spent in it. Um, Man, I wish I could play this certain video, and I've been getting attacked very hard. They've been making me have this really, really hard pressure to the point I'm still getting that where I feel like I got an aneurysm or something. And then like the shocks to the back of the head, the vibrations, bone deep pain all throughout my bones. But my exhaustion and stuff has not been as bad. However, by the time I get done doing stuff around here, I'm exhausted. But I thank God for my that I have energy, even though I have to go through all this nausea, vertigo. Um, a couple weeks ago, I walked into a wall. I had vertigo so bad, I thought I was walking through the doorway and walked into a straight into the door frame and hit my head and just crazy stuff, man. But this pressure, and then I get this like during these attacks, I get a fluttering, like it'll switch ears. It'll be tinnitus and pressure, but it'll go right up against my eardrum. I don't know if anybody's ever felt that that it's a fluttering noise, but it's a pressure right up against my ear that makes and that it's a fluttering against my ear when I'm being attacked along with the tinnitus. I believe these programs existed before FISA. However, behind the creation of FISA, they were rolled out and transferred to FISA. See, I just don't. I think if you do away with FISA, you don't do away with no program. But it's okay to disagree. Matter of fact, I was talking to somebody last night, and they told me that me go because it was under one of my posts because I posted about this. They told me that the acts we need to be worried about is not FISA, but the Brain Act, Patriot Act, Energy Act. Them are the three that should be the issue. So I really don't know enough to speak on that because like I said, I've been very, very busy and being targeted. I don't have time to research as much as I used to have. My targeting is ramped up. They're hitting us from all angles. The V2K, the psyops, the isolation tactics, and I want to tell you more about that. So as soon as Holly sat down next to me, and we were looking at something on my phone together, that's when that isolation tactic text come through. So, it was a very big psyop, but we were proud of ourselves for seeing through it. Now, if they'd have done that the first year we were together, yeah, it might have threw some stuff in the mud before she could have saw it, but we've grown so much, and that's why I tell people don't wait around on court cases. Not that court cases are not going to be one. I'm not saying that at all. I really think that these people play chess, they're three moves ahead, and they already got that covered. However, I tell people, whatever your drive is, whatever your ambition is, go for it. If you think you have a court case and can take this stuff to court and win, go for it. But I try to tell TIs to try to be proactive, build yourself up spiritually, and try to figure out ways to deal with life and see through these psychological operations and how these psychological operations has molded your brain to think and try to undo some of the damage that's done to you psychological, like seeing through triggers, seeing through sensitizations. Just little stuff like that can make a big difference in your life. Learning that there are good people out there, and sometimes you have to take chances to get something good to happen to you. And what I mean by that is if a lot of people have, and I went through this, and I was so traumatized. I was the world worst. People would reach out to help, and I would be so terrified it would feel like a setup. And I'm sure I pushed a lot of good people away that were trying to help. So you can get in that mode to where you just defeat yourself because you're sitting there thinking everything's a setup. You're not trying, and you just give up. And I try to give people hope, and that's our goal. Have you tried the megaphone test? It definitely works. Well, see, the megaphone test, I don't know where it's working at, but the megaphone's always going to go off around your ears and your mouth, and that's just science. That's just your body chemistry. So if you're doing it anywhere around your head and neck area, it's going to go off. And Nick may be able to help explain why, but I'm sure Nick agrees with me on the megaphone thing because now. Is it going off on your lower body, Cosmic Crimes? I just know that a megaphone will do that to anybody because of the brain. I don't know how to explain it, and I don't know if Nick's still in here or not. Um, but if he is, maybe he can try to help me explain this megaphone thing and why it goes off against your anywhere in your head area. The megaphone's going to go off. I think it's acoustic. I can't. I don't want to explain it wrong. So. But hey, I'll give you some information on that cosmic crimes. I just know that this research I did on it when I researched it, anywhere around your head and your ears and all that, it's going to go off. Now, I really don't know about the bottom half of your body. I don't think it's supposed to go off, but I don't know enough about the bottom half. I just know about the head area. I had that too. It's the tympanic membrane in the ear fluttering from the vibrations. Sorry, the correct spelling from the middle ear. Uh, exactly, David. Learn the program, then you can fight. Yeah, effectively. Yeah, you have to learn the program. You can't sit around and defeat. And you got to use that. I'll be damned if they defeat me attitude and use that energy just to defeat them, to put it into figuring out, okay, I don't feel like doing nothing, but I'm gonna figure out one trigger today and work on it. You crawl before you walk, but you got to come out of this mess because, and I'm even working on it and getting out more. So it's a slow process. I'm not in no rush. Um, and Nick said when you put your hand over a megaphone, it does the same thing as putting it close to your head. It causes you to feel feedback and oscillate, which is what you're hearing. Yes, wherever I have experienced an attack on my body, they attack my right arm and the megaphone's going off. Well, I don't know. I've seen it debunked, and why it goes off and stuff. Now, I'm not denying what you're saying at all. It's what you believe, you know, but I've heard it's a hoax, and there's a reason why it goes off. Effectively, it causes acoustic coupling with the microphone and causes the amplifier to self-ring and oscillate. Yes, and hey Nick, is that because of your body's electric field that it lets off? But I am going to show something very interesting, and I feel like this was a very good thing that happened, even though it's not. Well, it's a good thing that it's not a good thing that um, this person got killed and another person had to be rescued. However, give me 1 second because I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to show y'all what I'm talking about. Because I've been saying this for years. But basically, what I was saying earlier, all these smear campaigns out here about me and Holly are based on half truths. So they'll take a little half truth. Like, see, he's still in touch with the homeless dude. That's proof he was weaponizing the homeless dude. No, I was helping somebody out because I've been there. I've been on the street, blacklisted, hated, with no food to eat, hungry as hell. And I was trying to get him off the streets and trying to talk positive to him, and I've got all the proof. So, that's what I'm basically saying. All these lies being spread about me, I can disprove it if you're that curious and want me to show you what's really going on. Um, and I can also show you that um, one of the people starting the lies is one of the people that tried to weaponize us against somebody with lies, saying this person was doing something to us. And when we asked for proof, they didn't have it, but they said they had it. But when it came down to it, they didn't have it. They thought we were just going to go off what they said, jump on YouTube and destroy it. But we don't destroy people on YouTube. That's not what this channel's about. So, oh yeah, another thing they did under the narcissist is fully aware that you're genuinely kind. Exactly why they're working overtime to persuade you and everyone around you you're terrible, your integrity is the biggest threat. There was 14 comments under there, and a couple of them was, and I'm not bragging, and I'm not talking about this to brag. I'm just showing you. I guess I don't know if the person had some kind of uh, access to my stuff, and I can't prove that they did, but it's funny that your integrity is their biggest threat. So a couple people put underneath there, a couple people we helped put underneath there how we helped them. And I look and all them comments got deleted, and that's the only post all the comments has ever got deleted on. Now there's new comments now. Matter of fact, I even put under there under the post, and then we're gonna go on to the information I'm gonna show you. Let's see where it's at. Wow, they even erased my comment on saying, well, the comments have disappeared. They erased that one. Wow. So they're really messing with me. They're in my YouTube. I changed my password. Also, we had to work on the tablet again. I got it fixed again. And let me know, do y'all want me to do a video to show how to set a BIOS up in the computer and keep your computer safe? Because I had to after that interview with Hard Target the other day, my computer went into some weird stuff, so I had to basically do a whole reset on it. And I had to set the BIOS up again. Now, setting a BIOS up in your computer is very important if you want to keep any kind of safety at all. I know they can get into anything, but I'm telling you, there is ways to keep it safer than normal. And here's the link, and I'm fixing to show y'all what I was going to talk about. Yeah, they deleted my comments saying, where did all the comments go? So it's like somebody is going out there, I don't know, because that's part of the smear campaign that we haven't helped nobody and all that. And, it's just bull crap. And what I've learned this past week, see, in this targeting thing, it's good to try to learn lessons. So everything you go through, you need to learn lessons and look at how what's your part in the what's your part in how you reacted if you reacted the wrong way. So last week, I found myself defending myself in a smear campaign and all of this. And then, you know what? After you will exhaust yourself, you'll never win. The narcissist already has the smear campaign figured out and already has a response to counter. They've already countered what you're going to say, and they already have responses to counter that. So it's a never-ending game that stresses you out and will make you focus. So you know what I had to tell myself, you know what? That don't make a world of, I know that's not true, and anybody who believes it and without coming to me first, I can't stress myself out over that. I'm already sleep deprived. I'm already being fed V2K, being attacked, and then they were out on us hard. We had to change passwords. They hacked the tablet, doing psyops outside the house. Huh. So when you put yourself in the hamster wheel of reacting or defending yourself in a smear campaign, depending on what kind of smear campaign it is, but not just smear campaigns. Everything you go through, you need to try to learn a lesson in it because lessons in life exist, and if you can learn lessons in everything you go to, lessons on how you deal with things, lessons on what you did wrong, and that's how you it just gives you better position. It makes you wiser, and it helps you. But if you're just totally, oh well, this happened to me. This happened to me. Nothing's fair. I don't know what I can do. You got to look at lessons in everything. Every life thing has a lesson, and sometimes life will make you keep repeating the lesson until you figure it out. The kind of the same thing kind of thing will keep happening until you figure out how to work your way around it or approach it from a different method. I bought two magnometers in the last 2 weeks. Neither would do real-time readings. The magnometer built in our smartphones are legit, but NPCs compare it to mobile gaming app. And then Nick said there's something useful there. Effectively acoustic coupling with them. I've been trying to find a good standalone magnometer. There's something useful there. Hi, Servant Sue. All right. So anyway, I'm ready to share this. I felt like this was okay. Okay. So here we go. The CIA used a new futuristic tool called the Ghost Murmur to find and rescue second airman who was shot down in southern Iran. The Post had learned. The secret technology uses long-range quantum magnetometry to find electromagnetic signal of a human heartbeat and pairs the data with artificial intelligence software to isolate the signature from the background noise. Two sources close to the breakthrough said it was the tool's first use in the field by the spy agency, but not the first use on TIs. I'm sure it's probably who we got tested on. But you see what this says? The secret never before used CIA tool to help find the airman downed in Iran. If your heart is beating, we will find you. Well, some of us know that truth all too well. So that confirms what people have been saying for years, that it's so deep they can even find you by your heartbeat. So, I'm convinced that they can find you by your heartbeat, then what I've been saying for years is true too. And I forgot the man's name. I wish, man, the guy, I can't think of his name, but anyway, he was saying it back in the 90s. I think Connie, somebody said it too. I forgot her last name. They can track you by your neural signature. And I know this to be facts. I've done extensive research into this. KSA 18 can't wait for the rapture. I personally don't believe in the rapture, and what I want to warn you, I respect whatever your belief is, and I'm not trying to change your belief at all. I just warn you to get ready for tribulation, and then if the rapture happens, it happens. And the reason I don't believe in the rapture is in Matthew 24, can't think of the verse. It says, when the abomination of desolation sitting in the temple, um, if possible, it will deceive even the very elect. Well, if the very elect can be deceived, how did they get raptured? I don't know. So that's Matthew 24, Mark 13, Revelations 13, 2 Thessalonians 2, and I think it's Luke something. Um, my scriptures that back up my claim. But I'm not trying to change your mind or your belief. You believe what you think and what your heart's led. Just be ready for tribulation, and if it don't happen, it don't happen. That's my advice. I'm not here to change nobody's mind. I let everybody think how they want, believe how they want. But I do give scripture in case you wanted to look into it for yourself. Do you think that's what's happening to us will happen to everyone? Not sure. I don't really think so. It didn't happen that way in Germany. Um, I don't think it'll happen. If you're talking about everyone on a broad scale, no, no, because there's always no two people believe exactly the same. Exactly, Servant Sue. And that's why I tell people to study to show yourself approved. And don't never think you need to go down in front of a church and ask the preacher to pray for you, because the power to pray is right in your hands if you're crying out with your heart. So that's something we've been lied to about too, and I'm going to get back on targeting right now. People think well, I used to be the same way. I'd go let the preacher pray for me, and I thought he had some kind of special thing. And then I found out, hey, the power of prayer, my prayer is just as powerful if I cry out to him with my heart. And there's a parable in Luke where the Pharisee's getting ready and he's trying to do this, or the Sadducee, and he's trying to do this perfect prayer. And then Jesus tells a story. It's a parable. And then the guy comes out and he rips his shirt off, beats his chest, and looks up to God and says, "Help me, God. I'm a sinner." And Jesus said that God heard that dude over the Sadducee. So anyway, let me get back to what I was saying. So it says the CI should have left that up. So they can track you by your heart. So Sabrina Wallace says this. I know there's controversy, and I really don't agree with everything any of these people out here that are big in the community say. I think if people were really threats to the community, their platform wouldn't be big. They would not allow it to be big. And so, but what I'm saying is, she did say that they can track you by your heartbeat and everything. So I agree with that, and I've agreed with it since she said it. So if they can do that, they can do it with your EEG heterodyning. And some interesting stuff is to look up what they use in airports. Look up future attribute screening technology. It's called the FAST program, Project Chaos. So what they were doing in airports, Department of Homeland Security, is they got these systems, and that's why a lot of people get targeted in airports heavy. I know I got mobbed in airports all the time. Uh, so what they were doing in these airports, and I think that the project, you'll have to go to Brave search engine to find this. There's other words for it. I have information on it. It's called the FAST program, and it was technology to where they were trying to keep people out of airports that were gonna blow stuff up, stuff like that. So they come up with this technology that can analyze your body, tell if you're nervous, tell if you're a threat, and it can read your I don't bio your that can analyze your biofield. Basically, it's not biofield, it's not what it's called, but it can analyze your biofield, and it can tell if you're nervous. It can tell if you are hostile. It can tell anything about you that's off. And when it's off, it sends an alert to the other people in the airport to watch you everywhere. So what I'm thinking they've done is integrated this technology into all their cameras and everything all around, and maybe even so if they got the technology in airports, it's probably everywhere. and that's probably one way they're using to track targets, analyze targets, and all that. Um, where two or more are gathered, amen. They can see through our eyes. If they're watching the screen, they can see through their eyes. Remote neural monitoring, if the way I see it is, um, you know, they can see through our eyes if they want to, but they got, for all targets, they got somebody 24/7 watching through the target's eyes. I don't think, I think that's why I think some people, get away with, sometimes passwords are not caught. And that's because at that time they're not watching. So to go and find out sometimes, so there are ways to beat the system in that area. So they can see through your eyes, but do they got people on millions of targets 24/7 watching through their eyes on the screen? No, they have to catch it when they're looking. Uh, just like I tell people to and then even if they have your emails hacked, from my understanding, they don't have they do have your emails hacked most of the time, and they can go and look at it anytime. But unless there's nobody sitting on you 24/7 a day watching your emails, watching everything you go through, I just don't believe it. Now, I believe that they can see through your eyes. They can hear they know what we're thinking sometimes. Advanced technology, yes, but um, man, I just don't want. Man, I don't want to make you think I'm trying to say. I'm trying to give an example. So if you set up a router password, if they're not looking at the screen through your eyes at the time you're setting up that router password, then they missed it. Now, I'm sure the data's still recorded, but they have to actually take the time to say, okay, I'm going to go out and watch 24 hours of footage. If you've ever watched camera footage, then you'll know how tasky it can be. So they would have to say, I'm going to go watch 24 hours of what this guy's doing to see if he put any kind of passwords in. Then you got to, so it's kind of very limited. There's glitches in the system. I'm telling you, there's glitches in the system. So when people think, oh, they can see through my eyes, they start panicking. But I'm telling you, there's ways you have to use your head. There's ways to navigate. Good day. How you doing, Tanya? Gaslighting through posts with my medical info. Sorry, they're doing that. Oh yeah, and last time I said, there's some people that may be watching through the TV, so they can't like. So but there's 34 people in here. So if anybody in here is curious, there's a technology called EEG heterodyning, and I have videos on it. If y'all are new in here, I know I got 34 people and 15 likes. Well, 30 people and 15 likes. Um, so I'm assuming there's either new people in here that are learning about this, and if so, listen to this. The CIA used a futuristic tool called Ghost Murmur to find and rescue a second airman who was shot down in southern Iran. The technology uses long-range quantum magnetometry to find electromagnetic signal of the human heartbeat and pairs the data with artificial intelligence software to isolate the signature from background noise. So the secret never before CIA used tool to help find airmen downed in Iran. If your heart is beating, we will find you. So that if you're in here because you're curious, uh, they got more advanced technology than that. They got technology that can make your head heat up to where you feel like your brain is frying. They have technology that can beam voices in your head of your family members and friends and make you think you're hearing your friends and family say something, make you think you're hearing God say something, angels say something, demons say something. Um, so they have all kinds of technology and they're using it, and they had to test it out on people to figure out how to, if it was effective before they could even do it on this airman right here. And it says it's the first time it's used in the field. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I know that I threw my phone away and jumped on a train in Atlanta and fell asleep. And in Shreveport, I woke up in Shreveport, Louisiana, and if you know how far the way that is, that's a long way. And they were on me like white on rice. My V2K never stopped. And as soon as I got off, they were mobbing me, stalking me, and everything. So I didn't have no electronics on that train or nothing. So they were tracking me either by my EEG signature because that was before, that was early. Uh, well, no, I think no, that wasn't before my hospitalization. So I could say that they did put something in me to do that. But the technology exists to not even need anything. And in 2015, I was proof of that because I had not really been to no hospitals or nothing at that point yet. Well, I had been to hospitals, but maybe they, because they're always going to put that, you can always say, well, in a hospital, they may have put something in me. But in my opinion and from my research, really, they don't need nothing in you to track you, target you, or nothing but your brainwave signature. They can do it by DNA now. They've learned how to do it. Now they got a heartbeat, which that's been around a while. They're just now coming out telling us about it. And I was watching a Trump thing the other day, and Trump was talking about how there was thousands of people in that military base where Maduro was, and how they had these weapons, and they not only fried the computer stuff where it didn't work, but they discombobulated thousands of people and went in there and got Maduro in like 3 or 4 minutes and came out and it was gone. So this technology had to be tested on somebody. We're the beta test if you're just joining us. And we've been beta test for years. Some of us are targeted. I filed an EEOC case against a company. I was targeted before then. However, when I filed that EEOC case because of workplace bullying, discrimination, and stuff they were doing to me there that ruined my hands, and they were calling me in HR, threatening me, and I had it all on recording. But anyway, I even got unemployment when I got fired. The lawyer took the case pro bono, 30%. And after I signed the papers with that lawyer, they made my life hell, even more hell, and came with so many psychological operations. They broke my mind down to where I didn't even trust my lawyer. That's how paranoid they had me and how much psychological operations they carried out on me. So, um, man, that was back in around 2015, 2016. So there's other reasons they target people. So I could go on and go on. And matter of fact, I'm going to be reading a certain book coming up in some videos. So I'm just going to be making videos, reading books. So, and I got some good books I'm going to read, and I'm going to do a series as I have time. So anyway, let me see how many comments. Let's see what we got on the comments. Sorry, I haven't been looking at these comments. Hey, Greg, hope you're doing well. They burn my ears every day. I hate it so much. I have to keep 4 bottles of frozen water in my freezer all times. Anyone have tingling on their head? Yes, in the back of my head, I tingle, along with shocks. And I'm still getting the. I'll tell you what though, since I started the garlic, the pressed garlic, since I started that, when I close my eyes, I don't know if y'all have been watching me or how long, but back in the day when I closed my eyes, my whole body would vibrate and I would be nauseated, I would get heated up, shocks to the head. Every time I closed my eyes, whether it was a nap, power nap, whatever it may be. Um, and since I started this garlic daily and trying to stay hydrated, um, keep my vitamin D up and stuff, but what I'm saying is they had me programmed to where I closed my eyes and when I tried the floor, we tried moving the couch, we tried moving the bed, nothing worked. But the garlic, for some reason, and I guess because the more metals you have in your body, it's just no difference in a microwave. You put a fork in the microwave, turn it on, the electromagnetic's going to blow that microwave up. So if you have tons of metals in you and you're surrounded by these electromagnetic frequencies, of course, the more metals you got, it's no difference than the microwave scenario. So it's important to keep the metals out of your body. And also, try to cleanse yourself of parasites too. Okay, when baby's born at the hospital, the doctors cut the umbilical cord and keep the placenta, which is how they get DNA for every baby born at the hospital. DNA has special frequency. Yes, it does. Thanks for sharing that. All I know. And Oh, I want to play something real quick for y'all. This is a breathing technique that the Navy SEALs use, and breathing's very important. Especially, I hope I didn't lose my live stream. Okay, breathing is very important. I screen recorded this the other day because I do a lot of breathing techniques because it helps you. Also, if you're in panic situations and need to think straight, this is what the EMTs, the Navy SEALs, this is what they use. Okay, so I thought I would record this and play this for y'all. I think it's very important. Okay, it's only 1 minute and a half. It tells you a breathing technique, and this ain't a breathing technique I'd ever heard of. So that's why I recorded it. Let's see. Here we go.
Any breath, but a specific type of breathing that activates your parasympathetic nervous system and begins to calm your emotional reaction. You're going to breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 4. Then breathe out slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. This is called box breathing, and it's used by Navy SEALs, emergency responders, and elite athletes to maintain calm under extreme pressure. The reason this breathing pattern works is that it stimulates your vagus nerve, which is like a reset button for your nervous system. When you're emotionally activated, your sympathetic nervous system is in control, flooding your body with stress hormones and preparing you for fight or flight. The extended exhale activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for rest and recovery. This begins to counteract the stress response and helps restore rational thinking. You need to repeat this breathing pattern at least 3 times, but continue for as long as necessary to feel your heart rate beginning to slow down. Don't rush this step. The goal is not just to calm down enough to function, but to calm down enough to think clearly
And make good decisions. So I hope that helps somebody out there. The power of learning how to breathe. Here,
not just any
I'll
breath,
play it
any
again. I'm just
specific
going to
type
play
of
the
breathing.
instructions again. Because I think it's very important. Breathing, especially if you're a target like me, I went through a lot of fight or flight situations where I had to make rational decisions. Especially homeless on the street, that will put you in fear mode, fight or flight, heavy anxiety. And if you try to make decisions on the fly out of anxiety, even if you're stressed over stuff they're doing and you need to make important decisions, you need to be thinking clearly, or you're going to make wrong decisions. Also, controlled breathing breaks brain entrainment. Sure, it's temporary, but it is some relief. Okay, I'm going to play the instructions again, and then I'm not going to play the whole video, just the instructions in case somebody missed it.
Activates your parasympathetic nervous system and begins to calm your emotional reaction. You're going to breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 4. Then breathe out slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. This is called box breathing, and it's used by Navy SEALs.
All right, there we go. Hi, Unaverage Joe. Thank you for joining. Greg made some good points. K Vicky, I'll get to them. K Vicky said in New Jersey they keep DNA for 23 years. I believe they're being legally challenged in that. Let's hope so. That 23 and Me and all that stuff was all a DNA grab. And that's why I think there are certain things that people didn't take in 2020, but some people did. Well, I know people who took all of them and are perfectly fine, healthy. So, but I know people that took and are not at all. So I'm thinking, was it a target? Were they targeting certain people's DNA? And I'm not talking about me, so don't get. I'm just saying I do know, or Holly. So don't think of me. Don't think that I'm talking about me, but I do know somebody that's perfectly healthy. So if anybody can tell me why that is, I think it was because they targeted certain DNAs. Okay, cilantro's great at clearing out uh, what we were talking about. I don't want to say it because last time I tried to say medical stuff, they tried to get me. So if you can read what Greg said in there, cilantro is great at clearing out what we were talking about affects you. Um, and I'll say it later, just won't put the sentence together. So the fasting is great, and you want to clear out your heavy metals. Um, get plenty of sun exposure, he said. I've been working on that too. I'm getting better about it. Sun is important. If you don't have sun, you want to get vitamin D, sublingual vitamin D. If you're not going out in the sun because you're traumatized or whatever, and you don't like being around people, and you freak out or get paranoid, and you're a recluse, and you're in the recluse stage, I ask that you try to get yourself out of that recluse stage. But until you can get yourself out of that recluse stage, it's important to keep the vitamin D in you because if you don't have vitamin D, your body will be very fatigued. You'll have brain fog, and you'll feel like you're being attacked by weapons. So that's another important thing. And I posted it this morning. A lot of people are so vitamin drained because these weapons drain your vitamins. So if you're not keeping up with what your vitamin levels are and making sure your vitamins are on track, look up vitamin deficiencies. Every vitamin deficiency has its own consequences and they're severe. So they could stop hitting you and you have a vitamin deficiency and you're going to feel like you're exhausted, being hit, all that. And that's facts. Um, Joel said a quick splash of cold water to the face has a similar effect. Yes, a cold shower. I get in a cold shower sometimes. I will wake up and it's hard to get used to, but boy, it'll boost your testosterone and energy levels. And it's got a lot of different benefits, and not just for men though. What's up, Loki? Guacamole kid. If you can afford a PEMF mat, get one. Yeah, I've been looking into that. I just don't, man. All I found though is when you spend money on shielding, they'll like to make you let it think it works for a while. But yeah, that's a grounding mat, ain't it, Guacamole Kid? I think that's what you're talking about. I've been wanting a grounding mat. Is it the same thing or is it different? Because when I said I was been wanting to get one, I'm talking about a grounding mat. I don't know if PEMF mat is the same thing. Good morning, Miss Maston Miles. Yes, Guacamole Kid. Fresh raw milk. See, if you got access to country stores, and I drink the stuff, it's raw milk, so it's not been pasteurized. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, cosmic crimes. Improving your diet is very important as a TI. I'm telling you, it is. Jack Cruz even said it. The TI program started. One of the things that started the TI program was they were putting the stuff in the food, and the stuff in the food. They were using weaponry to attack you through the stuff you ingested in the food. I don't know if you saw that Jack Cruz interview. Um, Also, there's somebody made a comment the other day. I was asking you, David, you're the expert. I'm no expert. All I can tell you is what I've been through, what I've learned through experience, strength, and experience. I don't think there are no experts at this. All we can talk about is our experience. Everybody's experience is slightly different from what I've witnessed and talked to many targets over the years. So, everybody's an expert, I guess at themselves. You need to be an expert at yourselves and how to get through the day and see through the tactics. But as far as me being an expert, I'm not an expert. I don't know everything. All I can tell you is what I've been through and my experiences. Somebody called me the other day and was talking about, they're seeing holograms, angels, demons everywhere. I don't see that, and I tried to reach out to, and I couldn't give him no advice on that. So I'm definitely no expert at this, but I did refer him to somebody. That person couldn't help him either. So yeah, if anybody's got any advice on how to deal with the holograms, this dude has been a target for a while, but they've turned it up on him now, and he's seeing angels, demons, talking to him, following him everywhere. I don't know if you've ever read the book Odd Thomas by Dean Koontz, but that's what it reminded me of. And I am in contact with this guy. So targeted testimonies at pm.me. If you're interested in giving a testimony, even through, you can send me an email testimony. I can read that. You don't have to come on here. But if you want to give me information on how to defeat that, what that guy's going through, because I've asked a lot of people in the community, So that's what I'm saying. Each person, there's no experts in this because each person's targeting is different. They make damn sure. Also, I got criticized, over that hard target interview. Somebody said, "Well, that's weird. He don't experience direct energy weapon V2K." Well, I mean, I know, I'm in touch with a few targets like that, but you better believe, some people are in a assassination program, and I don't like getting into this because I don't like scaring targets. But anyway, um, uh, so some people they turn the gang stalk into following up, the threaten, the shooting at people and all that. Some people's targeting is totally different. So just because they say they don't get hit with weapons or V2K, don't mean that they're not a real target. Matter of fact, the first 3 years I was going through Target, it was strictly psychological operations. And then, I've heard people say, well, they're not going through the hell of us people getting hit with weapons. Well, I don't know. I out in the open, the 4 years of psychological operations, I did actually, it was three. I got my timeline messed up, but so 3 years homeless. Well, before, and then I went through 4 years of, but 3 years they pulled some. They kept me just by psychological operations. They kept my mind so wiped and so fight or flight and so traumatized just from that. So you can't judge nobody just because they're not getting hit with weapons. So at some stage they might, but I can't sit there and tell you that. But I know for me, the first 3 years I didn't get hit with weapons, and then 2015 is when I started. I've been experiencing them since 2015. But so to criticize somebody just because they don't get hit with weapons, I just don't think that's fair. Okay, sunshine and salt water does wonders. Yes, it does. Also, take a scoop of concentrated vegetable powder and put in my fruit drink with some honey. Guacamole Kid said. That's interesting. When I'm in flight, the attack stop when the plane is flying, which means signal jammer stops the attack. Well, I heard V2K, and maybe it's just different, but I've heard that I've had V2K on a plane. I have not been hit with direct energy weapons in the air, but I've been hit with direct energy weapons in the airport. Uh, the day we had thunder snow, I was really in a horrible mood. I think they were putting a lot of negative waves into the atmosphere that day. Well, I don't know where you're at, but I don't know what location you're at. But I heard about the thunder snow. Where did that happen? I can't remember. Oh yeah, and I am going to be working on. I figured out how I'm going to do it. I'm going to be typing in that Springfield, Missouri thing. I'm going to be typing in every time I think of an incident. I'm going to type in. Oh, I want to share something with you while it's in my head. All right, so I started out in targeting. I didn't know I was targeted. I just knew crazy stuff was happening, being followed around. People would pull up. I'm talking about 24 hours a day, pull up, no matter where I was at in the city. It was in Des Moines, Iowa, where this was going on. And I'd be walking around the city because I don't stop walking. Like they'd put me in so much fight or flight, that I would just stay away from homeless. I would go in, eat my meal, leave. They were in on it. So these people would pull up and they wouldn't be at no stop sign. I'd be walking down the road. They'd pull up beside me. They'd look at their phone, look at me, look at their phone. Then they'd start texting. They'd look at me, look at their phone, and then pull off. Then another car would come do the same. Well, they pulled so much psyops on me. But anyway, to make a long story short, so I started taking Greyhound buses city to city to try to see if I could get away from this stuff because I didn't know what the hell was going on. Well, there was a guy, and he looked dressed up like he was in regular jeans, a button-up shirt with striped shirt, like a like a, I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, this dude, I'm sitting diagonally from him on the bus. This dude had this thing, and this memory came to me. See, when you've been through a lot of trauma, a lot of the memories you don't even remember. They'll come to you at certain times. This dude had like curly red hair, a well-mannered, dressed mannered guy for a Greyhound bus. So anyway, he's sitting diagonally from me, and every time I make a call, he's got this device in his hand. It's a black device. Every time I make a call and start talking, he'll just smile at me and he'll push this button and the call will drop. And I'll never forget that. So I was so resilient. I would just keep making calls. I would say, look, they're jamming my calls. This dude's sitting there with a button. Please answer every time I call. And we went back and forth. I think from all the way from Des Moines to St. Louis, or maybe it was Kansas. No, oh no, it was from St. Louis. Well, I don't want to say because I don't know for sure. So, but it was from one city to the next. We went back and forth, and I just kept calling. I was so resilient, but it had me frustrated. I didn't know why the guy was on the bus, and he was just showing me this device. It was handheld, and he would just smile at me every time I got a hold of somebody. He would let me talk for about 5 minutes, then he would smile and hit the button. I can hear frequencies of other people's phones. Interesting. Exactly. Everyone has a different program. Those of us who are lucky to have jobs deal with workplace mobbing. Exactly. Holly has a job. She goes through hell too. I'm not going to get into it on here. She just tries to keep stuff private, but you better believe jobs are not easy for targets. That's all I got to say about that. They're not easy at all. But if you can work a job, by ever means you should. I just, I hope one day I can. Um, I couldn't right now if I wanted to because of my responsibilities, but I hope one day to get to that point, and I'm working on slowly but surely getting better. It's not going to be nowhere in the near future, but I have to take baby steps, because my mind is really screwed. And I really get my V2K feeds me, when I go out in public, I can tell, it's just hard to explain. I can tell just by looking somebody in the eye, making eye contact with them, if they've been told anything about me, if something's going on. Now, V2K, I don't really listen to V2K because they will try to narrate and put stuff in my head about people. And V2K is a very bad thing to deal with while trying to work. I've experienced it. They will put ideas in your mind and internal dialogues in your mind, thinking people are against you, and they're very convincing too. And they'll also put, you know, it's just hard if I explained it, you would think I was crazy. So until you get your paranoia worked out, I don't know if you're like me, but until I get my paranoia worked out, I'm not ready to go out and do none of that because if I act on my paranoia, then I might, you know, get a charge or think somebody's doing something they're not, or think my life's in direct danger and act on something and nothing's really going on. And I'm not saying I would do that. I'm just saying I just avoid that at all costs. So um, I would rather avoid it than even take a chance at doing that until I know for a fact that I can do that. Because if I think my life's in danger, of course, anybody who thinks their life's in danger have to first verify it first. But verifying it, you really got to be like, well, if my life is in danger, and I don't act on it, then I'm not going to just let somebody get me. So anyway, it's just hard to explain that on a live, and maybe I'll do a video going into how my B2K messes with me. They get pretty serious. Uh, and they're pretty good and convincing at stressful times. Now, I treat it like a radio most of the day in the background, but when I'm stressed out, I can, but I don't advise nobody to do violence. I would never do violence unless in my life I was actually being harmed physically. So I don't advise nobody to do anything like that. And the last 5 minutes of my what I just said, just please disregard it because it really wasn't clear enough to understand what I was trying to say. The point I was trying to say, I'm just getting bobble-headed and confused right now. So I didn't come out right. I didn't explain it right. So I first noticed chemtrails in 2015. Guacamole Kid said, "Have you ever read 2017 essay called Protocols and Revelations of the Illuminated Sons of the Golden Dawn?" They talk about stalking. Is that the same thing as the protocols of the elders of you know what? David, they're using their cell phones to weapon you. Yes, I agree, but this device in his hand was not a cell phone. It had a little short antenna on it. It was a pocket-sized device, and it had an antenna that pulled out. And everybody on the bus was compromised, so he did not care about hiding it. And it was about that big, that long. and about that wide, and had this little antenna pulled out about that long. I get the trip of my foot while I was walking on the sidewalk and broke my glasses and got bruise on my right eye just before Elon Musk got his bruise. Wow, I'm sorry. So you're saying they tripped you, or was it from vertigo? And I'm fixing to wrap up the live stream. I have a lot of stuff to do around here. That's why I wanted to go ahead and get this done this morning. Sorry it wasn't like most live streams. Yesterday I went to do the live stream and I was about to log in, and I'm not even lying about this, and all I heard was boom. So I thought a transformer blew up, but it wasn't a transformer because the power was on. So the internet was off, went uh, was crashed all day yesterday after that. And then I took a nap. I was able to get a nap, luckily. Thank God, because last week, if you'd have known, I wasn't able to take a nap all week last week. It was hell, and I can't stand sleep deprivation. It's one of the worst tactics. I hate it. I hate being without sleep where my mind is just tired. But anyway, I woke up again and boom, I heard another explosion. So I don't know what the hell that was. Maybe what you call a refuser or something. I forgot what they call it. Something, a re something that keeps the internet from or keeps something from messing everything up when it blows. I believe they can control our body. Yes, they can control our body. Certain targets. What we have to do is tell unwanted voices in our head simply go away. Yeah, that can help, but some people's V2K is pretty bad. But I see what you're saying. Yeah, that works for me sometimes, but boy, if I'm stressed out, and especially if they're doing a lot of theater or they're messing with me with their weapons and stuff, um, and I can be affected by V2K and start getting stressed. Matter of fact, the whole environment gets stressed out because my stress comes out in different ways. So before I go, one thing I've been working on this week is trying to not worry about because it's easy on social media. Sure, it's good to connect on social media with TIs, talk about targeting and stuff, but don't I don't even I don't look at likes on my videos no more. I don't look at likes on my posts no more. After last week, I'm not worried about, I've never been worried about it. But what I'm saying is I don't look at likes and comments and stuff. I don't rush to look at it. I take my time because arguing last week and going through all that drama just made me see, wow, you're wasting all this time in a fictitious world when you have a world right in front of you where there are people in this world that's real life, and you don't need to be stressed out over a big internet world where there's people just poking and priding on you because it's all every response is a dopamine hit. That's all it is. Whether it's a like, a comment, whether you're arguing on this internet. So you got to really not get yourself tied up into looking at a screen all day or focusing on what is going on this internet. Focus on reality and what's right in front of you and what you have to be grateful for. And that was a lesson I learned last week. Speaking of lessons, so there's lessons in everything. But this internet, you'll get wrapped up into, thinking, um, you can't be baited. Don't take bait because they will bait you. Like I said, they tried to bait and try to, this person who got mad because they couldn't weaponize us tried to say that when they were friends, Holly told her certain stuff about me. That's not true. And I know it's not true. So I didn't even question it. It was a good try. But I'm just saying, you can't let that stuff, all that stuff don't make a hill of beans. Learn to see through it. Uh, and don't get wrapped up into this internet stuff too much because I can find something on the internet to back up any claim I want. I can. So what I'm saying is they're flooding the net right now with so much information, and a lot of it's misinformation. So they're doing it, and there's white papers to back up some of it. So they're doing that to keep you in the hamster wheel of information, keep you here, there, here, there. Never. You're always too busy to think.
So think about what matters in your life and try not to find yourself, um, wrapped up in uh, internet drama, is what I'm saying, or basing your whole day on being on the internet. The internet is a curse, in my opinion. Uh, Smartphones are a curse, in my opinion. It's all bad for you. It's just designed so badly that a lot of people, I'm bad about it, and I'm breaking free from it. Being on social media and looking through stuff and trying to find information about stuff, and then you look at a screen and then you miss important time you could have had spending with your cats or somebody, and I'm not talking about I'm not talking about talking to people because you're isolated. That's a different story. I'm talking about looking for information all the time, scrolling videos, short videos. All that stuff is programming us, and it's taking our time. Matter of fact, that's what I was going to tell y'all too. Yesterday, when the internet was down, it was down for about 7 hours. I felt clear-headed, and I have unplugged my router and still got hit. So I'm not saying, but I could tell the difference in how I felt 7 hours later with the internet being totally jammed or whatever, disconnected, messed up. Um, so anyway, thank y'all. Sorry, this live wasn't as good as most of my lives. Like I said yesterday, threw a damper in the live. I really have to be in a good mood to really and be prepared. I usually prepare myself more to do lives, but today I was like, well, here's my chance. I'm just going to do this and then go ahead and take care of my responsibilities during the day. And But I hope everyone has the best rest of the week they can. We do have an interview later this week, and if you want to reach out to me and do an interview, like I said, you can send an email. If you want me to read the email on here, I will. I am going to start reading a couple things and going over it. I don't know if I'm going to do it live. What do y'all think? Y'all think I should do a live, read the book live, or just do the video in different parts and read the book? So anyway, I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes for the answer to hear some of y'all's opinions on that, because I can read the book live, or I can make the video pre-recorded like I used to do and read it live or read it so in parts and break it down as I'm reading it. Well, I'm not getting no suggestions, so I guess I'm gonna go ahead and get off here, or maybe hold on, let me just make sure that the comments are not. Just remember, there's lessons in everything, and try to look for lessons in everything because that's read it live. Okay. Well, thank you, Rob, for giving your input. It's much appreciated. And thank everyone who liked the live. Okay, live. Okay. All right. So that's what I'll do then. In the future. So anyway, Godspeed for everyone. Just try to figure out ways to deal with your targeting and ways to, whether it's just try to get better each day and learn lessons. If you have a bad week and you snap at somebody or you respond and get baited into responding to smear campaigns and try to look at lessons. Like, the lesson I learned last week is, I'm sitting here on social media looking at this phone and I got and then I'm stressing out over this and this and this, getting carried to over this, trying to find information. Because I get stressed. If I can't find good information to share with y'all, I don't share it. So, but it also stresses me out at the same time. And then I was getting stressed over the lies being told and the bait that was getting thrown out there for us. So I was all wrapped up into this. So my lesson last week I learned is, man, you know your truth. Don't explain yourself to nobody. Who cares about that stuff? Stop getting wrapped up into that. Because when you get wrapped up in it, then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you spend hours going back and forth. And then you and Holly's here, my father-in-law's here, and them people matter. They're in the here, the real stuff. Lies don't matter, stories don't matter. So there's big lessons in everything, and I hope that y'all people can look and see, because you got to be able to look at your flaws and try to work them out too. And because we have flaws, we all have flaws, and you have to. It's a total. You have to work on your flaws, and do a what you call a self-awareness check, and be aware of your flaws and try to work on them. Like another flaw I have is reading into people's comments on my channel. I take them sometimes. I might look into a comment on the channel and on my channel and take it totally wrong way than it's meant. So I'm working on that too, because I will jump to conclusions and think it's meant some way, and then I'll respond in a negative manner. So that's a couple of my flaws I'm working on. I'm constantly looking on the inside trying to fix me, and at the same time, uh, you know, Psalms out loud. The Most High is awesome. Um, and so I have to work on myself spiritually too, because one thing this program's designed to do, and really just the world and the matrix anyway, this negative energy grid they have set for us, love is the most powerful thing out there. If you can walk in love, despite all you've been through, that's the most powerful force out there. Don't never let the program make you bitter. And don't never let this matrix get you so busy with paying bills, working jobs, going to the store, arguing on social media, posting on social media, that you don't look inside and try to work on your spiritual relationship with the Most High, or whatever your spiritual belief is, and work on yourself, because the matrix wants to keep you so busy that you don't look at what you got in front of you to work with, or find yourself or who you are as a person. You're too busy paying bills and wrapped up in the matrix of things. So anyway, I hope that helps somebody, because it's helping me tremendously. Just realize we are in a matrix, and the matrix wants to rob you of your time on earth to find out who you are, and your spiritual purpose, because all of us have a purpose. And if they keep you too busy, and by the time you get done doing all your responsibilities during the day, you're too exhausted to think, then they've exhausted your critical thinking, and you can't even work on yourself, which is the whole goal of being on this planet, is working on ourselves, finding our purpose, and walking in our purpose. So I'm gonna